We'll call the October 10th Select Board meeting session. Neil, would you lead us on a pledge of allegiance?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We need to approve the minutes for the Board of Selectmen non-public and work session for September 25th, 2017. Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve those as written.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
And the Board of Selectmen, September 25th, 2017. Have a motion.
Motion to accept the minutes. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Announcements. The Select Board will meet on the following dates. Regular meeting 6 p.m. Monday, October 23rd and November 13th, 2017. Work review sessions prior to the regular meeting will start at 5 p.m. Tentative work sessions, if needed, October 30th, 2017. All of the above meetings will be held in the Town Hall unless otherwise posted. Citizens wishing to be listed on the Select Board's agenda should notify the Town Hall before 12 p.m. the Friday before the scheduled meeting. New members are needed for Planning Board and Zoning Board positions. If interested, please submit a letter of intent to the Plymouth Select Board's office, 6 Post Office Square, Plymouth, New Hampshire, 03264. On correspondence, we have a resignation letter from Omer Ahern. On the zoning board, it is with deep regret that I find that I must tender my resignation effective immediately as a regular member of the Zoning Board of Adjustment for the town of Plymouth, New Hampshire. For a number of reasons, I have had to temporarily move my residence from Plymouth to Wentworth, New Hampshire. It is my intention to build my family's new home up on our property on Cumming Hills Road in Plymouth and move back to Plymouth as soon as circumstances will allow. I have enjoyed very much serving the people in the town of Plymouth as a member of the zoning board and serving with and under chairperson Patrice Scott. The members Butch Cushing, Howard Burnham, Freeman Plummer, and alternate member Tim McLaughlin, and the present town planner Brian Murphy. I apologize to the town and to the Zoning Board of Adjustment for any undue inconvenience my resignation at this time may cause. Thank you for your confidence in me and having appointed me as a regular member of the Zoning Board over the years. Do we have a motion to accept the resignation?
Can we not?
No.
I move that we accept Omer's resignation on the zoning board.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
The hopes that he returns when he moves back to Plymouth.
Yes.
Builds his house.
And I know he will. All right. Let's see, do we have any? Peter, did you want to speak to the select board?
I would like to speak first, though.
Well, we tried to have a discussion about this, but there's been a lot of activity regarding Northern Pass and the town's reaction to the threat of Northern Pass coming through town. And we had a recent rally downtown, which was very well attended. And there's also some discussion working with Senator Gaeta and other townspeople to write a letter to forward the rights-based ordinance, which will basically allow our town to take control of a project such as Northern Pass, even if SEC approves of it. We could, establish, an acceptable, criteria that would either prohibit them from coming through town or come through town in a manner that we would prescribe. So Peter's been working to that end and has a sample letter that he'd like to present and I'm inviting him to do that.
I have letters here from Michelle Sanborn, who is the representative of CELDF, that's the Community Environmental Legal Defense Fund. And she will be here on the 24th of this month to give us an overview of what we can do and how we should go about it.
That's the meeting that you were putting together?
Yes. And I encourage you all to attend. I think you'll find it very valuable and interesting. And also, it will definitely make a difference in the future of the community. Sure. Everybody has one, I guess. So, CELDF is an organization that was founded in Pennsylvania by a lawyer who has tried to protect towns, communities all over the country for a long time from what we would call rapacious projects by corporations that care only for their bottom line and not for the welfare of the population. And he founded CELDF, and the result of that is that they have encouraged what's called rights-based ordinances. Those ordinances are based on our constitutional rights, not on statutory law. Statutory law is no longer our friend because the corporations have gamed the system so that we can't win. That's just the way it is. For instance, the SEC has never, I want to say this loudly and clearly, the SEC, in all the time they've been in business, has never said no to an energy project, not once. Now this time we have shown them for the last 7+ years now that there is every reason to say no and almost none except the bottom line for Eversource to say yes. And we know that this project, if it goes through, will be horrendously damaging to our state. The DOE in Washington has never said no to a presidential permit to cross the international boundary. Not once, never. For the same reasons, because the system has been so gamed. DOT, our own DOT, has never found any reason to not approve an exemption to the law, to their own statutes and to the law of the state. Not once, not ever. And so I'm suggesting to you that one of the things that probably would be very valuable to this board and to the community would be for you to invite the DOT, or some representative of the DOT, to come and answer your questions. And I have to explain to you why they think that, in effect, that Eversource should be granted a complete and utter exemption. All the exemptions, they've requested hundreds of exemptions, 100, not quite 200, but 100 and some odd exemptions. And if history is any guide, they'll get them, despite the fact that they're all in contradiction to our DOT's statutes. So this is really, really serious business. I would like to suggest to you that if any of you can possibly make it, you should make it on the 24th at 6:30 at the library. This doesn't have to be a meeting. You just show up as individuals and listen. And I think you'll be very impressed with her. She really has a handle on what it's about. She'll do a really good, tight job of explaining it to you, and then you go from there. If you should decide that you'd like to do this, and I hope you will, we are the kind of the hub. Plymouth is a kind of the hub for the area. We all know this. And because of that, how you react and how you go could very well influence other folks. So I'd like to suggest to you that it would be really, really helpful, should you decide to do this, to be the leaders of the group and to encourage other towns along the way to do it with us. Now, some of the towns, like Easton and Sugar Hill, have already done it. They've already instituted one of these RBOs. So if we can get a lot of towns to do this, we will end up with a lot of influence on the outcome. It's going to be very much harder for us to be ignored if there are a lot of us on board. So I encourage you to be very proactive on this. If we're not proactive, they're going to run over the top of us. It isn't going to be pretty. Thank you very much. Any questions?
So how many towns do have a white space order? And you said Eastern Sugar Hill, but, you know.
Well, that's just along our group. I think there are 11 or 12 towns now in the state that have already enacted this. Then the new, when Pam and I first came before the board, I don't think any of you were on it at the time, and explained the RBO, I think 5 or 6 years ago, it may be that long now, Paul can probably tell you. We were early on in this, and there weren't so many, but it's definitely, people are definitely paying attention. We're not going to get any justice from statutory law. We are not. That's all there is to it. And so we have to think out of the box. We have to think new thoughts. And most assuredly, we have a right to do that because these are based on our constitutional rights. Yes, Mike.
So, on the 24th at 6:30 p.m.
At the
Pease
library.
Public Library, the selectman could show up to get more information on this.
She's not going to address you as a board. She's going to address the town.
Right.
She's going to address whoever's there. So you can sit there and listen and ask her questions.
Is there any point where it could be too late for us to have an impact with Northern Pass?
It's not, well, I would like to suggest to you that should you decide to do this, that you, as a board, do the warrant article and declare a special town meeting to get it done as soon as possible. So whatever happens with the SEC and however it goes, you are prepared to be there to fight right away. Now, when Pam and I first did this, we only did it for energy. But things have evolved, and they're much more thorough now. And so an RBO can be in place that you will get help from CELDF, and it'll cover lots of bad things, like the spreading of sewage sludge, for instance, or some guy comes along and buys an old farm and wants to drain your aquifer, and so forth and so on. So all those things are things that we as a community should be very, very concerned with and want to protect. We want to protect our water, we want to protect against pollution and so forth and so on. And these kind of RBOs will help us do that. Oh, yes.
I'm just wondering, what if there's a really bad farmer out there that wants to spray his crops? Could this thing help us stop him?
It could help you. It could help you stop corporate projects, and I think beyond that, what we would have to do is to say we institute a particular statute here in town that says no spreading. Now, what I'm saying to you is that it is not going to tell you you can't run your sheep or whatever it is you do. That's not the thing. It is to protect the community from dangerous and harmful projects that from outside that we can say no. So we don't want somebody to come in to dump toxic waste, for instance. We don't want somebody to steal our water. We don't want somebody to do those kinds of things that endanger the environment and the people. And that's what it's for. Now, should there be some sort of a case, Michelle will discuss this with you, but should there be some sort of a case where we decide that a project is in our best interest, we don't have to enforce anything. All right? If we decide a project is in our best interest, then we allow it to go forward. But we don't allow to go forward those things that are very dangerous to the community. You're smiling.
I just see, I would just like to say I can see unintended consequences,
Well,
Mr. Chairman, but I'm sure it's all, you know, it's sometimes the,
Have any more questions?
Any questions? Okay. I hope you can all make it on the 24th. And I see this board as the tip of the spear for the people. If we can get the rest of the towns, or the majority of the rest of the towns on board, we can present them with a front they can't break. Thank you.
thanks, Peter.
Thank you, Peter. Any discussion amongst the board? None?
I just urged you to go to the 24th, meeting on the 24th. so.
Exactly. Yep. Thank you, Peter. Okay, committee reports?
I have none at this time.
Neil?
I attended the planning board meeting as a citizen. Bill was there.
Okay.
As a citizen, what'd you think?
I thought it was excellent. You know,
Bill, do you have any committee meetings?
Well, I attended the planning board meeting that Neil went to.
And the results were?
Yeah, so it's, actually we discussed the master plan, and that's, pretty much, we're working with North Country Council to finalize that. We're also going to be tapping the, the experience and the expertise of several of the planning board itself, because we're going to need probably a little bit of extra help to get this over the finish line. And still targeting maybe end of December or thereabouts to have it complete, and then we'll schedule, town hearings or public hearings to, have input.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much it.
Okay, Mike?
I attended a marketing committee meeting for the chamber. It was our first meeting that this new group, and it's Danielle Sargent is donating some time to help the chamber make ourselves more visible and develop more of awareness for Central New Hampshire. And I think a lot of good things are happening at the chamber.
Okay. Any other business we need to conduct? All right. Do we have a motion to go into non-public?
I move that we go into non-public under RSA 91A:3, Roman numeral 2, A through I.
Second.
All those in favor?
I
Aye.
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 Crap.